everybody! So today we are working with dividing radicals. So very first thing, common factors. If you have two things that are both under a radical, then you can, if they divide, then you can divide them easily. So 15 divided by 3 gives me 5, so that means I have the cube root of 5. No common factors, that means that I'm going to split them up. So if I have one big radical and then 25 or 6 doesn't go into 25, then I know I have square root of 25 over the square root of 6. So that is allowed. And then radicals in the denominator. You cannot have a radical in the denominator. Denominator is the bottom of a fraction bar. So that radical 5 is not allowed. You have to multiply the top and the bottom by the radical that is in the bottom. So I'm multiplying by a radical 5 on the top and bottom in order to get it to radical 30 over 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this first one out. Okay, so you have some choices on what you could do here. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 20. So that tells me, I'm just going to write this over on the side here, I have negative 4 radical 20 plus 3 radical 2 times 20 is 40 over radical 20 times radical 20 is the same thing as just saying, hey, it's just 20. Or you could look at it and say, okay, this is radical 400, which equals 20. Okay, now I want to simplify this down as far as possible. So 40, that splits up to 2 and 20. That goes into 2 and 10, and then 2 and 5. So it looks like I have a pair of 2's and then a 2 and a 5 left over. 20, we have 2 and 10, 2 and 5. So I have a pair of 2's and I have a 5 left over. So on the top, I'm going to write down I have negative 4 times 2 radical 5 plus 3 times 2 radical 2 times 5 is 10 all over 20. So that's going to simplify down to negative 4 times 2, that's negative 8, radical 5 plus 3 times 2, so 6 radical 10 over 20. Now I can simplify this down one more time. I can take out a 2 from everything. So that's going to tell me I have negative 8 divided by 2 is 4, so I have negative 4 radical 5 plus 6 divided by 2 is 3 radical 10 over 10. That is my final answer. Okay, so for the second one, I'm going to take a look at this. Do you notice that this has cube roots? Like it's a 3 right there. So I want to make the bottom part change. One way that I've seen it is they say, okay, what do I have to multiply to 7 to make it into a perfect cube root? Well, I'm going to multiply it by the cube root of 7 times 7. Or you could say the cube root of 7 times 7 is 49. So I have 5 times the cube root of 49 times 5 is 245 plus 3 cubed root of 2 times 49 is 98 over the cube root of 7 times the cube root of 49 is just 7. Okay, so let me write that down one more time. We have 5 cube root of 245 plus 3 cubed root of 98 all over 7. 245, let's see, 245, I can do 5 and 49, and then 7 and 7, so that's not going to work. 98, I can do 2 and 49, and then 7 and 7. So this is as far down as we can get it. Okay, so looking at these next 6, real quick, just take a minute. Make sure you know where all these answers should be. Okay, so starting up with this top one, we can do this one together. We're going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 13. So that's going to give us negative 2 radical 13 minus 4 radical 39 over 4 times 13, because radical 13 times radical 13 is just 13. Okay, so that's going to tell me that I have negative 2 radical 13 minus 4 radical 39, not 36, 39, okay, over 52. Now, all three of these have a 2, so that tells me that it's going to be negative radical 13 minus 2 radical 39 over 26, which is E, right? Cool, good. Okay, so go ahead and try the second one and tell me what you get. Okay, so we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 19. So radical 19, radical 19. So that means that I am going to have, I'll just write it over here, negative 2 radical 19 plus radical 5 times 19 is 95 over 2 times 19. Okay, so let's look at this. Well, negative 2 radical 19 plus radical 95 over 2 times 19 is 38. And then I can't simplify any of those, so looks like my answer is B. Okay, next one. Go ahead and try that one out and tell me what letter answer you get. Okay, so for this one, it's a little bit different because it's a cube root instead of a square root. So, in order to do a cube root, we have to do 15 squared. So what is 15 times 15? It is 225. So I'm going to multiply both of these by the square root of 225, or the cube root of 225. So that's going to give me 5 cube root of 225 plus the cube root of 3 times 225 is 675 over, and then that's just a plain 15. Looking at this, I'm going to just write it up at the top here, 675. So that's going to do 3 and 225, 3 and 75, 3 and 25, and then 5 and 5. So I have 3 3s, so I'm going to pull that out, and then 2 5s, so both of those are going to be in a square. So that means that I'm going to have 5 cube root of 225, because if you look here, 225 was already sitting right here, so nothing was 3 below that, so 3, 3, 5, 5. There weren't 3 of anything, so that's going to stay the exact same. Plus 3 radical 5 times 5 is 25, cube root, sorry, over 15. Can I do anything with that? No, I can't, so my answer is going to be, I'm pretty sure it's D. Let me just take a look. Yep, it's D. Okay, go ahead and try the next one. Okay, so again, we have cube roots. So I have the cube root. What am I going to multiply to both of these? Well, I want to take this and I want to square it. So what's 10 squared? 100. So I have 2 cube root of 100 plus 3 cube root of 5 times 100 is 500 over just a plain 10 because I'm getting rid of that cube root. The next part, we're going to look at 500. Let's split that up. So we have 5 and 100. We have 5 and 20. We have 5 and 4. So we have 3 5s and a 4. 100, if you look, we have 100 right here. So I don't really have anything that I want to do. So 5, 5, 4. So that's not going to help me. So I have 2 cube root of 100 plus 3 times 5. What is 3 times 5? 15. So I'm just going to go ahead and write 15 cube root 4 all over 10. What answer does that look like? F. Okay, go ahead and try the next one. Okay, so we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 14. So I have negative 5 radical 14 plus radical 3 times 14 is 42 over 4 times 14. So that tells me that I'm going to have negative 5 radical 14 plus radical 42 over 5 times 14 is 56. Well, that's already one of our answers, isn't it? Yeah, so this one is A. Okay, very last one. Try it out. Looking at this, it looks like we have a cube root. So I want to take what's on the inside right here and square it. So I want to take the cube root of 81. So I have negative 2 cube root of 81 minus 3 cube root of 81 times 3 is 243 over negative 9. Okay, so now, well, let's look at 243. 243 can go into 3 and 81, 3 and 27, 3 and 9, and then 3 and 3. So 1, 2, should have done that one lower. 1, 2, 3, and then these both go into a box. Okay, so now looking at 81, I have 3 and 27, 3 and 9, 3 and 3. So 1, 2, 3. That one's there. Okay, so I have negative 2 times 3, so that's negative 6. Cube root of 3 minus 3 times 3 is 9. Cube root of 9 again, all over negative 9. Okay, so now simplifying, I can pull out a 3 from everything, so that is negative 2 cube root of 3, no, I can pull out a positive 2, so we're going to make that into being positive 2 radical 3, or cube root of 3, plus, nope, not plus, minus 3 radical 9 all over 3, which is the answer C. Okay, so we're done with this video. I'm going to go ahead and put up a second video, so get ready for that.